Melissa Georgesen takes the concept of breathing new life into an organization to a completely new level by transforming a community swimming pool that had been shut down for over 2 years into a viable recreation center, and accomplishing this task in an 8-week time frame. Now, before you conclude that Melissa is part of some superhuman task force, a bit of a backstory would be in order. Melissa was the previous Community Services Director for the city of Molalla.
I became the aquatics manager in the fall of 2007, and I worked with the city until September of 2014. So I was the aquatics manager. I was then promoted to Community Services Director, and I oversaw the aquatic center and the adult center. In 2013, I was no longer overseeing the adult center, so I was just back on the aquatic center, and our new city manager made some changes with the council in 2014. So the council decided to retract the park and rec fee that was helping sustain the funding to the aquatic center. And in September of 2014, the council and the city manager elected to shut the aquatic center down.
When the aquatic center closed, Melissa stayed with the high school swim team as the head coach. And together, they kept the idea of a community pool alive.
Even though I was unemployed and not running an aquatic center, I maintained my relationship with Molalla High School as the head swim coach for the boys and girls swim team, and we traveled to the Woodburn Aquatic Center for 2 seasons to practice. After 2 years of traveling, the team had grown smaller, and all of us were pretty tired from not having this facility accessible to us. We all approached the school board and said, "You own the aquatic center, it's just sitting there. What do you think about opening it for our team? We can use it on a limited use where we're the only ones in there. You don't have to open to the public, you don't have to hire staff." And the school board agreed.
During this same time, the community group known as Friends of the Molalla Pool was out campaigning to gain support for the formation of an independently operated aquatic district. As a result of the efforts of Melissa and the Friends of the Molalla Pool, a vote was passed in July of 2017 to form the Molalla Aquatic District.
And at that point, I had completely written this off as far as my time with the pool. The aquatic center is done. I'm not really sure where this is headed. I wish them all the best. But there was something nagging at me, telling me to just go and sit in on the meeting and kind of meet the 5 board members. I knew a couple of them, but I didn't know all of them. And I came and sat and listened to them, and they asked me questions, and I was able to provide answers. And at the end of that meeting, I drove home and I thought, I'm gonna apply for that job. As soon as they posted, I'm gonna go back. I don't think I'm done.
Melissa wasn't done. She was offered the position and she accepted. She then rolled up her sleeves and got to work.
I had already been laying plans for what I would do if I had the job. It wasn't that I believed that I would get the job, I just knew that when I actually accepted the position, I wouldn't have a lot of time for a turnaround. Being the head swim coach afforded me contacts with lifeguards, the part-time staff that we started out with. They were all on my swim team, and I certified all of them at some point.
To get the facility up and running, Melissa took on the role of a project manager.
I created kind of like a punch list of sorts when you're doing the new job, and identified needs of the building, and the board and I worked through them on priority.
She identified energy upgrades to the mechanical room, had a new circulation pump installed, addressed chemical usage by purchasing a top-of-the-line chemical controller, cutting the use of pool chemicals by 50%.
I accepted my contract at the end of January, and we opened our doors to the public on March 31st. We held our special Easter egg swim, which is an annual event where I put plastic eggs in the pool. Some of them float and some of them sink, and then the kids can come in and dive for eggs.
Because of Melissa's past experience with the Molalla Aquatic Center, she had a clear and defined mission.
My only motivation has been to do it better than we did it the last time. How do we get the people using the pool who didn't use it? How do we make our programs better than they were before?
So is all this work worth it? Are there rewards for a job well done?
You don't often hear all the kudos. You don't get a lot of people coming up and patting you on the back and telling you that you did a good job. You just have to know that you've done a good job. I see that we've done a good job when the kids are in the pool smiling. If I have one child that comes through the doors that decides to love swimming and stick with it for the rest of their lives, and they can save themselves at some point, that is my job. That's a job well done for me.